Republican Senator Pat Toomey represented the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in the U.S. Senate from 2011 to 2023. Senator, it's good to see you again. Welcome back to the lead. Only 4 Republican senators have joined Democrats to vote on this resolution to undo specifically the Trump tariffs in Canada. Do you think, I mean, the Constitution pretty clearly lays out that tariffs are the responsibility of Congress, even though I know there's legal precedent for what Trump's doing. Do you think only 4 U.S. senators have concerns about the tariffs against Canada, or is it only 4 willing to say so?
No, Jake. Well, Jake, thanks for having me. But no, I think there are far more are concerned about this. You've seen, in addition to those 4, Senator Grassley has joined in offering legislation that would give Congress the final say on tariffs. And here's the thing, Jake. The president has walked into a buzzsaw. It's very obvious within the financial markets. His tariff proposals have wiped out $7 trillion worth of Americans' savings. And what's coming very rapidly thereafter, it's actually already begun, is going to be layoffs from American manufacturing firms that are no longer competitive because the inputs they have to buy are just being exorbitantly priced because of the tariffs. As they start announcing their layoffs, as prices start to rise for consumers, members of Congress are going to reach a breaking point. And that's where I think this is heading.
Well, they didn't reach it over January 6th, right? I mean, that was, I realize that January 6th didn't affect every American in their pocketbook and their savings and their retirement and all that. But you were one of very few U.S. senators, Republican senators, who did or said anything about that. I mean, is it not possible that maybe members of Congress are just deferential to President Trump for the long haul?
So I think Republican members of Congress their first reaction is to give a Republican president an opportunity to advance his agenda. He did run on tariffs. That was part of his message. There's no surprise except the magnitude and the degree. So I'm not surprised that the first instinct of Republican members of Congress is to let him go ahead with this. My point is there's going to be a backlash like you can't believe. I mean, just look at what's happening in the financial markets. There's a reason for the sell-off that's been occurring. And as businesses start closing their doors and laying off their workers, members of Congress are going to realize they better be standing up and fighting this for their constituents.
So you were willing to take issue with President Trump during his first term. You voted to block his national emergency declaration at the border. You supported, right. You voted for the gun safety legislation bill after that horrific shooting in Texas. You called it a mistake to commute Roger Stone's sentence. That's all while you were still in the Senate as opposed to on your way out the door. How did any of that impact you? What insights do you offer to your Republican senators, or congressmen about what comes if you are willing to defy President Trump?
Well, you know, Jake, it always depends on the particular circumstances and how your constituents feel about these things. You made a point that's very, very important. The tariffs are going to result in higher prices for every single consumer. They're going to result in job losses, especially among manufacturing companies. And as this starts to become publicized, Stellantis already announced 900 workers losing their jobs. As more of this happens, it becomes very real to constituents, and they will create a sense of urgency for members of Congress that January 6th was a different set of circumstances.
All right.
There's another point I'd like to make, Jake, if we have time, and that is if President Trump gets his wishes with all of this, it actually ends very badly. We're being told to bear the pain because it will be better in the end. It's not going to be better in the end. In the end, it'll be fewer jobs, it'll be higher prices for consumers, and a lower standard of living for America if we keep these tariffs in place for as long as the president wants to. So the pushback needs to happen soon.
Former Senator Pat Toomey from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Thank you so much, sir. It's always good to have you on. Hurry back.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
Video showing the final moment.